So the Texans finally get their first win of the season. It was an ugly win. A very ugly win. Probably the ugliest win I've ever seen. Up there with the 2012 Chicago Bears win. Probably even worse than that one, because this game featured two teams that really didn't want to win. Early on in the game, the Colts straight up handed the game to the Texans. At the end of the game, the way the Colts played in the first half, the Colts had no business taking this game into overtime. They didn't. But, the Texans, they tried to give the game back to the Colts. And at the very end, the Colts said, "You know what, Texans? No, you take it. I insist." And the Texans got the win. Now, you know how the saying goes. A win is a win, no matter how ugly. But, yeah, a win is nice, especially when it's the first win of the season. But it's kind of hard to move on when you see all these issues with the team. I think today raised even more questions of the Texans rather than answered some previous questions. And, I hate to be the negative guy, but I'm gonna have to be the negative guy. But, let's start off with some positives. So, for you guys that don't want to hear the negatives, you can, hear the positives first. And then, if you don't want to hear the negatives, you can click off the video. And if you want to hear the negatives, you can stay on the video. It's up to you. Anyways, positives. Clowney woke up. Clowney, in probably the whole game, was a force to be reckoned with. And now, I know I've said, if you've been showing it to my live streams, I've been, really upset with Clowney with the way he's been playing. Even suggested trading him. I mean, I'm not suggesting trading him because he's a bad player. I just don't really see this franchise keeping him. I don't know why. I just have a strange feeling about it. So, good for Clowney. He was back to being Clowney. But the question still remains, will the Texans keep Clowney? I hope they do. I like Clowney, but I don't know. So, Clowney came back to being Clowney. Even Merciless made a really good play where he set the edge and on an end around. And he didn't make the tackle, but he pretty much disrupted the play. So it was good to see Clowney and somewhat Merciless making plays. But J.J. Watt, for the second straight game, he was back to J.J. Watt from the 2011 through 2015 era. I don't know, man. I think J.J. Watt might be back, given he has done it in back-to-back weeks against two terrible offensive lines. But, you got to give credit where credit's due. And hopefully, we get to see J.J. Watt continue to dominate, because it's been really fun seeing Watt be Watt again. I think J.J. definitely deserves it, man. After all he's been through, after all he's done for the city of Houston, he definitely deserves a healthy season. Even though season isn't going quite as we all thought, it's still good to see number 99 out there having fun making plays. Now, more positives. Kiki QT. Wow. 11 receptions, over 100 yards, and he had a few rushing yards too. He did make some rookie mistakes to where he bounced the ball too outside, or he didn't, read his blocks correctly. But, he's a rookie. First game starting, and I thought he did a fantastic job. He's quickly become one of Watson's favorite targets, and besides a drop early on, and a pass that was too high from Watson, but he probably still could have caught, I think he, had a near perfect game. Good for Kiki. I mean, the first 3 weeks, obviously, he was hurt. Comes back week 4 and makes a significant difference. DeAndre Hopkins, he dropped that game-winning touchdown in the end zone, but, he definitely made up for it. I mean, he had a huge game. I mean, it's DeAndre Hopkins. He always does good. Will Fuller, he was doing really good, and then he got hurt. The Texans' offense in a whole, I thought they did a pretty good job besides running the ball. The running game hasn't been there these past 2 weeks, and it's really concerning. But overall, I think it's good that Bill O'Brien went back to last year's offensive playbooks, offensive play calls. They work, and for some portions of the game, they didn't work. But I would like to believe that is due to Will Fuller being out. I don't know yet, but it is possible. And you also got to consider, out of the 37 points that the Texans scored, the defense did spot them 14. So you actually have to consider that too. So the Texans offense, they had, 2 touchdown drives. One of them was set up with beautiful field position by the special teams. Special teams actually played good too. And I know some people are going to be mad at Ka'imi Fairbairn for missing a 59-yard field goal, but come on, dude. It's 59 yards. Give the guy a break. Not any kicker can make 59-yard field goals. Probably only like Justin Tucker and Matt Prater. A few kickers can do it, it's my point. Ka'imi Fairbairn, probably not one of them. Offensive line, I know they technically allowed 6 sacks. I think they did do a better job today of protecting Deshaun Watson. A lot of Watson's sacks, or a lot of the sacks, were on Watson either A, holding on to the ball way too long when he should have got rid of it. I feel like at least 3 of them were on that. And like another 2 were on Watson scrambling and getting tackled for like half a yard loss. So yes, you can blame the O-line on some, but you can also definitely blame Deshaun Watson on others. Deshaun Watson is a young quarterback. He will learn. He will learn when to get rid of the ball and just throw it away. Now, Kendall Lamb looked nothing like Kendall Lamb. He actually looked competent. That was really surprising. I wasn't expecting Kendall Lamb to look that much better than Davenport, but he did, besides a holding call, which I'm pretty sure the Texans overcame his holding call. Besides that, I think Kendall Lamb did a fine job. I mean, obviously, the run game, I don't know what the hell's going on with the run game, but, let's just hope that gets figured out with Deontay Foreman coming back, like in, 3-4 weeks. Special teams actually played a huge role in this win. And defense did spot the offense. 14 points early on. JJ again was JJ early on. Clowney was Clowney. But, I think that's all the positives. So if you're just here for some positivity, you can go ahead and click off the video. Now for some negative things that I saw on this team. Okay. At what point do we start blaming Cornell for some of these losses, some of the terrible defensive meltdowns, defensive plays? I mean, seriously, dude. Okay, let's go back to week 2. The Texans had a chance to pretty much win that game against the Titans, but Blaine Gabbert and his no weapons drive down the field on the Texans and pretty much seal the game. Guess what? Week 3. And I completely understand the Giants have all sorts of weapons, but for the most part, the Texans defense got shredded all day. And you know what? In the second half, they actually improved their play. But when the Texans had finally inched closer within a 1-possession game against the Giants easily drove down the field and scored a touchdown on the Texans this week. I mean, Cornell's defense allowed 21 points against the Colts in the second half. Keep in mind, Jack Doyle, Andrew Luck's second favorite target, wasn't playing. The Colts' 2 starting tackles weren't playing. T.Y. Hilton was in and out of the lineup. And Andrew Luck has no arm strength anymore. I mean, it's pretty obvious that he's lost arm strength. But somehow this guy passes for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns on the Texans. Keep in mind, this guy failed to pass for over 200 yards in week 2 and week 3. But against the Texans, he gets 400. What gives? This guy had no weapons, yet somehow his guys kept getting open, kept making plays, and pretty much almost won the Colts the game. At what point do we hold Romeo Crennel accountable for this defense? And I know it's going to be hard to do so because of who he is. Romeo Crennel, a legendary defensive coordinator. You know, just like players, at some point, coaches, they just lose it. And Romeo Crennel might be at that point. Now, I understand that Romeo Crennel defenses usually start off the season very slow and then pick up steam. Hopefully, that's what it is. But it feels different this year. Jonathan Joseph, he looks washed up and done. I mean, seriously, this defense, I don't think is very good. And if the Texans want to keep winning games, they might have to be winning shootouts. And that's something I don't really like because of the state of the offensive tackles. They're not very good. And I don't want to put Deshaun Watson in a situation where he has to throw the ball 50, 60 times a game. We can't have that. Because then he gets hurt. We break him. And then we're back to square one, except this time we don't have a defense. This defense has some serious issues, and they better get figured out quickly if the Texans want to win another game. Now, next week we have a date with Dallas, and hopefully the Texans are able to win it. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.